What is up, sports fans? JAMSports Podcast. Today we are with the magnificent UrinatingTree. Yeah, I don't know how to do this.
Lord Ginzer himself.
Yeah. So we're gonna interview him. Ask him a couple questions about sports, about YouTube, whatever it is. I'm gonna hand it off to May for the first question now.
Okay, you just bear with me here. My first one is when I wrote out these questions, I kind of started from the beginning just to brainstorm just things coming together here, and I wanted to know, the first one is the reason you could all these questions, feel free to answer like I said previously before we started, but at your own discretion how you want to answer them. But my first one is, how did you get started in YouTube, basically?
With the sports stuff, it was just a perfect storm of a lot of different things. I remember, this was 2016. It feels like a different age compared to now.
Oh, of course,
I remember just rambling a bunch of random stuff. If you actually go back, there's a lot of really, just off-the-wall shit I did. I took down a few of the things just because, nobody would get the joke. That's the problem. It's a bummer. I enjoyed making some of those, but at the same time, I remember what got me started in sports, per se. The Cleveland Browns were in their first attempt at 0-16. They wouldn't win it because they lost. They beat the Chargers. The Chargers had just imploded that year. But this was, I believe, their bye week, if I remember correctly. They had I remember watching a video a long time ago. It was a video called "Only in Cleveland: A History of the Browns After the Move."
Yeah.
But the problem is with that video, I think it's still up on YouTube. It only goes up to the beginning of the Haslam era. It does not go further than that. So what I thought about doing, because I was kind of in a random video making craze, why don't I make a video that bridges that video and the current era? So I tried to mesh them together. And that's what created the Cleveland Browns lolcow vid. I wanted to actually think of a different name besides lolcow, but I just couldn't think of anything up. So it's whatever, call it lolcow.
Yeah, I think it's funny because lolcow is kind of a staple in a lot of people. It's you not negative to you, but you kind of created a meme that people meme lolcows. And now at this point, when you check on Twitter and YouTube, sports YouTubers and stuff, it's not even. It's what celebrity lolcow of the week, or what's it's outside of NFL at this point. You kind of created a meme.
Lolcow has actually been around for a long time. I know it's been around since I think the early to mid 2000s. So I did not come up with it. That's why I wanted to try and come up with a different name, but it's just
okay.
That's just how it is. It's been around in internet jargon for a lot longer than I've been doing this.
Definitely came back in sports a lot.
Yeah.
You want me to keep going, Alex?
Yeah.
Okay.
You need. Yeah.
Oh, geez, Denver just muffed the punt, but they recover. Oh, this is a shit. I'm watching Monday Night Football in the background here, and it's just...
No, you're good. I just
Denver Broncos. Why do you put them on Monday night? I don't want to watch Russ cook. No, Russ cooking.
No, hold on. I got a tweet from the ESPN app saying Russell Wilson is 4 touchdowns away from 300 or something like that. I'm like, dude, he's not going to get it. He's not going to get it. Not in this offense.
Yeah, he'll get it maybe in December.
Yeah.
Probably.
My next question is, I kind of have to add a little bit of context here because it's not enough in and of itself, question. If you ever feel a point, let's just say maybe you're down, or maybe you feel a little bit of burnout, what motivates you to continue every week to produce content? Now, I'm not saying, you might, but just if you ever had, what motivates you to continue every week?
I would say a combination, an obligation and a sense of duty to it as well. I would say that. I would say the fact that at the end of the day, I think being in the workforce in a past life kind of gives you a sense of understanding of, what it was like before. I was in restaurants for 8 years before I went to do this full time. So I did everything front of house, bussed, waited tables, bartended, hosted. I've done everything except manage. So I've even done dish. In the dish bit. So if you don't have that life experience, you tend to think YouTube is the be all end all. We all go through phases. There's going to be a time where I fall off and probably end up getting canceled, or I stop doing it. And that's an inevitability. And if it ends tomorrow, I have no regret. I mean, I wish I could have done more vids, like, different ideas and topics, but at the same time, it's just gone, I've done things with this stuff that I couldn't have even dreamed of doing when I started. Like, I couldn't imagine being like, hundreds of thousands of subscribers. I have like stuff I do every week. I travel, I've met new people, I've networked, I've had awesome experiences. I do a lot of things that a lot of people like want to do. And I know like there are times where I know a lot of people hate my guts. I get that. Like, I know I painted a target on my back, but at the end of the day, I think what it is that there's a lot of BS with YouTube. I mean, you deal with a lot of just BS out of your control, but at the same time, it could be a lot worse. You deal with a lot of risk no matter what you do. So that's what kind of motivates me as well, like a sense of duty to the product as a whole.
Yeah, I just want to say that you were talking about the things that you never would ever be able to do, as like a YouTuber. Don't ever give, like, genuinely as a fan of yours, don't ever give that up for nobody, for anything. Like, just, I would say that just all the people that I see, and like, just, it's funny because it stretches outside like the realm of, like, when I'm watching a Tom Grossi video, people mention you, or if I'm watching something else, like your name will pop up. So you do, in the sports community, you do have an impact. Don't give that up for anybody, man.
I would say like the most sobering thing are like people that use my stuff to get through rough times in their life. Like you get those random Twitter messages that are like, hey, your videos got me through, like, my parents have issues, or like I had a really bad day at school, or, I had COVID. I need something to get me through it. Like I had somebody that was on Clickbait Sports. My shit got him through chemo with leukemia. Like that's sobering. Like that's humbling.
Yeah.
As you sit there, it's like my shit has the power to do that. Like that's crazy.
Yeah.
I never in a million years could I have thought of that.
I have a friend of mine who didn't know who you were, and I didn't know, like, he's like a casual sports. I used to work at a grocery store, a popular grocery store in the in like the southeast. But he was a casual sports fan, like just NFL, like me. And I didn't know how to, like, I was like, there's this guy that I really like to watch on YouTube, and I was thinking of a clip. It was the draft clip of you laughing at Kadarius Toney's
and the problem is, like, the main one that goes out there, you're missing the whole context of why I'm laughing so hard. I'm not laughing at the Giants drafting Kadarius Toney. I'm laughing because Five said, like, 5 seconds earlier, if they take Kadarius Toney, I'm gonna freak the fuck out. Dude, because he had just gone off and said, like, we don't need a wide receiver. This is why we traded down. And guess what? Who they picked? Kadarius Toney. He's just punching everything left and right. And I was a few beers in at this point. I'm just dying. Like, he's pissed. I'm dying in the background. It's just like, I think I laughed for about 5 minutes straight. And then I kept laughing when the Colts took an edge rusher immediately after, which is the pick they wanted. And ironically worked, because in the second round, they did take Azeez Ojulari, who is a pretty good edge rusher in himself.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, the Giants could really use that receiver right now. I wonder what Toney's doing.
He's injured. That's the problem.
Yeah.
Well.
No. You have his clone. You have one Darius Toney, also known as Wandale Robinson.
Exactly. Well, he just came back.
Yeah.
But for Toney, you get one game, and then he takes 3 games off to recover, and then you get another game, maybe.
Hey, if Urban Meyer's still a coach, maybe you can get a first-round pick for him.
Listen, it's a give and a big take every time. I got a couple of more. This is sort of, you answered this a little bit, but like genuinely in your heart of hearts, did you ever expect to get this far? Like, did you like, because you hit the mountaintop?
Never. And at the end of the day, like, I don't see it as like a summit or a peak of a mountaintop, because the moment you get content, you're done. You always have to keep pushing and trying to strive for something new and great. I think as well, I mean, once again, I couldn't imagine being this far. I always thought it was just going to be make a few vids on it, get told I suck, and then go back to my daily life. But
yeah,
to think like, okay, wow, I'm actually doing all this. Like, it didn't really hit me until like the end of 2017 or like the beginning of 2018, when, you know, things start to take off. You get like, you know, you get formations of things, you start certain programs, you get sponsors, you get, you know, start monetizing, even though like I didn't want to monetize at first. And holy crap, the Broncos actually scored a touchdown. Russell Wilson might break 4. He passed it from 40 yards, so that red zone failure streak still continues, but the Broncos have scored a touchdown.
UT, we gotta hear a let's ride. We got it for the vid. Let's hear a let's ride.
Broncos country, let's ride.
There we go.
That's great.
To the elimination line.
I can
Greg
just hear
Dulcich.
I could just hear for your sports bowl when you do like someone getting eliminated from the playoffs, the guy screaming like just the I forgot the sound bite that you used.
Oh, like the I use a couple of them. An old game called Empire Earth had these really just over the top death sounds, and I think they're perfect for it. There's there's a Red Alert, there's Command and Conquer, there are a couple others as well. But like I know oh, sorry.
Oh no, I was sorry to interrupt. My two personal favorites are I think it's either John Madden or just there's a man down or the the roller coaster tycoon exploding crash thing. Yeah, that one.
I actually got that from somebody I was talking to, a fan of mine. He mentioned that in the vid. I'm like, no, I should use that. That's a good one. And then Madden 96 for the Genesis. That's where that's from, because it's like such a creepy sound that works well for injuries. And it's just like you're a kid, you're like, what? It's like all the sound effects just stop for that one sound, and it's like everything just goes pitch black. I'm like, oh my god, this is creepy. 10-year-old me had nightmares about that.
Have you ever had any cool interactions with fans in the real worlds before? And if you want to give one, you can. If not, that's fine.
I'll go over the first one. The first time I was recognized in public. I was at a bar called Tequila Cowboy. It's a bar by Acrisure Stadium. I keep calling it Heinz Field. It's going to be one of those things where it's like it's still Heinz Field to me.
Yeah,
but it's one of those things where I was with family. I believe it was for like my sister was engaged, and I think that's why we went. I got recognized by this kid. He went to Pitt. His name was Cam, and he mentioned to me like, "Are you UrinatingTree?" I'm like, "Yeah." And I'm like, it was like just weird because I got recognized randomly in a bar. I didn't really put my face out there.
So wholesome.
The thing that made it awkward was my cousin, who was like about 5 to 10 beers in. She was just like completely drunk. It's like, you know Tree? You know him? Here, let me introduce you to his family. I'm like, oh my god. I feel bad for Cam because I'm worried like he thinks he made it awkward when it wasn't him, it was my cousin.
Yeah.
Like we just like took a picture, it was all good. Like we just shot the shit for a little bit, but it's like my cousin just made it awkward, and that's what made it memorable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that there's no way for Cam not to leave that feeling like he made it awkward.
Oh, dude.
It's always awkward to go up to someone. It's always awkward to be the one gone up to in some way.
I mean, it feels weird for me still. Like if I get recognized in public, it's just like, it's a little startling. Because it's like most of the time, I don't really go out per se. More or less, I'm just by myself. I just do my own thing. I just run my errands, do my shit, and just call it a day. Like I try to keep a low profile, but
you do have a distinct voice though. Like
that's the problem. Like if I don't talk, I might be okay. If I talk, then there may be problems.
Yeah. If I was like in a grocery store and you have a very like really funny, contagious laugh. If I was 2 aisles over and I heard you laugh your ass up, I'm like, holy fuck, that's UT. Like, and I would just book it. But yeah.
And then I'd run for the hills.
And then I have.
Everyone's gonna be like, "Get that fat ass! He makes fun of the Steelers."
Running out, twirling the Yinzer towel.
It's like that Super Bowl. I'm like, oh shit, no, it's not me.
Two more from me. Any big plans for the future?
More or less, I've just been trying to tread water. I've had some big things happen in my life over the past year. Both some good, some bad, but at the same time, it's just more or less just trying to focus on that. I bought a house in May, so it was one of those things where thank you. As I said, I just been trying to settle in here, get a lot of stuff done around it. I mean, it didn't need much, but at the same time, immersed myself in a couple home projects. I built a fire pit, and I like to pretend it's like my greatest accomplishment in life.
Oh, here we
This
go.
is mine and nobody else's.
Exactly. Otherwise, that yard work, and then the past month and a half, I've just been cooped up in my office area, just working on vids, and yeah, I lead a very boring life, as you can tell.
No, my last one. Okay, this is a personal question that I thought up on my own time. It's a two-parter. Number one, have you ever met Barry McCockner? And number two, is he literally as genuinely funny as he is in his YouTube videos?
Him personally, I have talked to him via text. He collaborated with me last year, I think, on a vid. So most of the time, like, we weren't really like trying to be like funny. It was just like more just general talk. He seemed like an alright dude.
Yeah,
but I mean, a little out there, but I mean, you have to like kind of be out there to do this shit. So
yeah,
it is what it is. Like I'm out there too, so it's fine.
Alex, you?
So I have some sports questions for you.
What's up, man?
So,
Oh Lord.
I was the realist, and now he's coming in. What do you think about Oscar? But
Steelers.
what do you think? Well, it is the Steelers. What do you think of the state of the Steelers currently? And do you think Tom Coughlin can bring them out of hell?
Tom Coughlin ain't doing anything for the Steelers. Dude, Tom Coughlin couldn't save Jacksonville in his second go. The Steelers are in they're in a football limbo because they still think they can compete. They're trying to push for a playoff spot, but they have nowhere near the talent to be able to do it. So I'm surprised. I'm surprised they won. I'm still at the point where it's like, how did we win? We had no secondary. Pickett was taken out for a concussion. Tampa Bay should have killed us by 30. Yet I'm just like, okay. I mean, I'll take it, but at the same time, it's as I said, I predicted like 8 or 9 wins for the season, and maybe they'll hit that. But at the same time, it's going to take a lot. So what the Steelers really need is to have one really bad year so they can reassess a lot of stuff, but I don't think it's going to happen.
Mike Tomlin saying the standard is the standard every single post-game press conference for the rest of the season.
No, it's about not living in your fears, and not living in your fears is kicking field goals every chance you can get.
Yeah.
So I mean,
I'm assuming just you were obviously not impressed with the Mitch Trubisky experience.
Yeah, what do you think
Mitch
of Pickett
Trubisky
so far with that?
Yeah, Trubisky, he's a backup. Like, he's fine in a game or two in a pinch. Like, for example, coming in Tampa Bay, he's perfect in that situation. He'll come in, give the team a jolt because, I mean, he made the plays that he needed to make. That's what a quality backup should do. But if he's your full-time starter, he's going to have issues. But as for Pickett, he's been okay. Like, he's not been setting the world on fire, but he's a rookie quarterback. He's been able to hold his own. I think he's being held back by the Matt Canada offense. At the same time, I want to see more because at the end of the day, you need to see if he's going to be the guy or not.
Did you
so
see
right
that?
now?
Oh, sorry.
Go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say, speaking of Canada, you see that clip of Boz?
No, I did not.
Oh, it's unsure whether he's yelling at Canada or not, but I think the consensus is we at least like to pretend he is.
I mean, I feel like everyone would yell at Canada if he were in that state.
But like walking into the locker room after the game, or like celebrating, and Boz, allegedly goes, "Yeah, no thanks to you," as he's like walking out.
Dude, that's so true. I mean, dude, they had some chicken shit play calling in the red zone. I mean, you have that big return by Steven Sims. You go for an immediate 3 and out. Like, what is your play call doing, man? Like, most of his play calls are, botched RPOs, jet sweeps, a pre-snap motion. Like, this is stuff you run in high school.
Or if you're Joe Judge.
I'll give him that.
No, Judge runs quarterback sneaks on 3rd and 9 at your own 2-yard line.
Oh God!
Joke Jack. Months ago, we made the joke, and you can explain it, but I did this in passing just as a joke when he was still the coach of the Giants, but I'm like, dude, it's hilarious how he'll like somehow just every single play just do a jet sweep, and you were like, no, it's an actual thing, like that genuinely happens.
Yes, they do just jet sweeps. Jet sweeps. Well, no, hands for Evan Engram, and then Daniel Jones slightly overthrowing his receivers, creating humiliating situations.
That's a Giants fan right there. That's the reaction.
I mean, your Giants right now, I mean, they're well coached. Like Dable and Martindale have added a new identity to them, and they're playing solid ball. They play scrappy, they win ugly, but at the same time, they're winning. And that's all you need to do, unfortunately. Like, I don't know if it's sustainable, but at the same time, there's promise there.
Jack, I'm going to say this right now. This might be the first time since 2018 where you can say that the Giants are better off than the 49ers. I'm just saying.
I don't think that's the case whatsoever.
The Niners aren't that good.
The Niners aren't that good. You're right. That's why I'm saying that. It's because the Giants are right now 5-1. The Niners are 3-3. Over the past,
the Niners' offense their offense is weak, and this is based on a guy who was supposed to have a strong offense. Like the defense is carrying them.
The Niners have talent. With the Giants, I don't know how long they can sustain this, especially if like Wink is getting more looks at head coach at some point.
Easy. The issue is you look at their schedule; it is really easy. I think their next two opponents are the Jags and the Lions.
Yeah, I mean, there's a reason that Vegas keeps not liking what the Giants are doing.
It's probably a honeypot. It's a trap. So
I'm
they try to get you to bet on the Giants. They fail to cover, and then they make the money.
Yeah, I'm just waiting for once Wink leaves. This defense has nobody there. It's like Williams, Dexter.
They
Lawrence,
have some pieces. You have Ojolari and Thibodeau.
Still don't know why y'all got rid of Martinez.
McKinney's all right, but there's no one else in the secondary. There's no linebackers.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like, you have a lot of holes. Like, you have no wide receivers. Your line's a mess. Linebacking core is iffy. Secondary leaves a bit to be desired. Like, Daniel Jones is like a Ryan Fitzpatrick type. He's a guy who's going to, do a good job in a pinch, but he's going to keep you wanting more. And the reason why your offense has been performing well is because Saquon has returned to being a generational talent.
Oh, yeah. My highest hopes for Daniel Jones, like right now, are for him to be, oddly enough, with Tyrod Taylor on this team, but for him to be to these Giants what Tyrod Taylor was to those Bills a few years ago.
Yeah, the guy who carries him to the playoffs. That's what I mean. I see him as like, fringe starter type, Ryan Fitzpatrick. A guy's going to bounce around from team to team. Like, I think he's that. I think he can be that.
Yeah, I mean, I was on record as saying that it wouldn't have been the worst idea for the Steelers to get him.
I was thinking him, but I think at this rate, do you consider franchise tagging Daniel Jones?
Right now, no. If he keeps up the way he's played the last 3 weeks and ignores the first 3, sure. Why not?
Yeah, that's the question. Like, do you consider franchise, or do you go for a guy like a Lamar or a different trade chip?
I also wonder, I mean, the class isn't looking as great as people thought it would, but if you like tag him or something, just keep him around for another year and try to get a guy, trade up for a guy.
Maybe.
They brought in Buffalo guys. I wouldn't be surprised if they try to do the Buffalo formula.
Yeah, that too. I mean, they probably get a project like a Josh Allen type, because I know like most regimes want to get their own quarterback and their own guy in there, which is why I could see the Bears moving away from Justin Fields because he wasn't their guy.
Mm-hmm.
Different regime.
Justin Fields also like isn't that good of a quarterback.
Whoa.
I mean, I saw this when he played Northwestern. When he was with Ohio State, he does not do good against quality defenses. He's too insulated, and quite frankly, he went to the worst possible situation.
Yeah.
His upside is Kyler Murray. Let him be Kyler Murray. You're trying to pigeonhole him in this situation that does not suit his strengths.
Yeah, I would love to see him anywhere else other than Chicago, just because, it's so weird. I don't know. I genuinely, and then a bunch of their players, Robinson left, and you have all these people, and then I don't know, and then Matt Nagy never helped them at all. I don't.
No, but yeah, I mean, he held them back. He ruined Trubisky too. You could argue.
Yeah.
He's like what's his name, Adam Gase.
Yeah, the quarterback whisperer.
Yep.
I was wondering.
Peyton Manning.
I literally, as I got home from running errands yesterday, I was able to catch literally the last 2 minutes of the game yesterday. The Eagles Cowboys. Did you watch that? And what did you think?
I did. I remember a lot of Cowboys fans talking some smack, a certain Scooter Magruder saying the frauds. Look, I despise Philadelphia. I hate that city. I hate going there. But I have to respect them. They are a legit franchise this year. Like, they are running on all cylinders. Jalen Hurts has blossomed, which I did not expect in the slightest.
Me neither.
You also have a defense that's strong. You have young pieces in the secondary. Your D-line looks strong. If your O-line can hold up, I think your ceiling is potential Super Bowl.
Because last year, my big problem with them was Hurts and watching.
Well, it was Hurts, and they started out cold.
This is true. And then Hurts comes in this year looking better than I imagined his ceiling was.
Exactly. Like, I mean, I was sitting there when the Eagles drafted him. I'm like, what are you doing?
Yeah,
Jalen Hurts.
My ass off.
You have Carson Wentz. What are you doing? And then it's realized it's like, oh, you got a first round pick for Carson Wentz, and that pick is now top 10 because you traded it to the Saints. So, cool. Howie Roseman did like 18-dimensional chess because I wanted him fired after 2020. That whole year was a mess. And then it's just like all of his moves worked out. I'm like, what the hell? Okay.
Roseman has these weird cycles where he's incredible and then what the fuck, Howie?
A couple of head scratchers.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah. More than head scratchers.
Your thoughts on Cooper Rush and the sort of Dak rivalry that Skip Bayless is generating on his own?
Oh, it's not a rivalry. Cooper Rush is a solid backup, but like he had a rough game last night. I think at the same time, I think he's a quality option. I think you realize you have a safety valve in case Dak goes down, but
of course,
the quarterback is Dak. You've thrown too much money at Dak not to go to him.
On the other hand, I would love to see a Cowboys offense with Rush and Pollard with how much they're paying Dak and Zeke.
Yeah, well, Tony Pollard's the better back than Zeke.
Oh, so
Dude,
much.
Zeke is so washed. It's unbelievable.
Zeke's not washed. That's on Jerry Jones for loving his stars too much.
Yeah, I mean, I would say, because his production, what was his production, like his rookie year, second year, compared to like now?
They were strong.
Like, yeah.
I mean,
they were
injuries did a little bit of it, but I mean, with Dak, they had no choice because 2020 was a hot mess. And then every time a bad quarterback went out there for Dallas, all Dak had to do was like, look at that, pay what I want.
Yeah.
That's all he had to do.
And for Zeke, part of the problem there is just paying a running back. Because when does that work? You can only get
it's not the 80s or 90s anymore. Like, a running back's not the focal point of an offense.
If you stumble upon a legendary power back, like if you stumble upon a LaDainian or something, then I would assume you kind of have to, or you'd look dumb. But how often do you stumble upon something as good as that? Like
there are only a couple of those that are in my mind right now. Derrick Henry, Dalvin Cook, and maybe Saquon when he's healthy. Jonathan Taylor, it's too early to tell.
Yeah, I was just about to ask you. Yeah, Taylor.
I mean, Derrick Henry, before the injury last year, was going to rush for 2,000 yards again at his rate. Like, that's what, the first time a player's rushed for twice, 2,000-yard seasons, and that would have been back-to-back
years. I
years.
thought OJ didn't do that.
OJ, I don't think once. OJ did.
OJ did it once.
OJ also had 14-game season.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
But, like, I don't know. I mean, how is Derek doing now? I don't even know. Is he kind of back in form?
The Titans offense is a mess. He has his moments, but they shut him down easily. Let me actually take a look because I know they had their bye. All I know is that Tennessee's getting a new dome. He had a 100-yard game last week. He is at 408 yards and 104 attempts, 3.9 yards per carry average with 5 TDs. It's okay.
Yeah.
He's looked okay. He's still been a sure thing in like goal-to-go situations.
Yeah, but I mean, he's starting to fade a little bit. The injuries are starting to get to him. It's a shame. He was awesome. I mean, just awesome in his prime.
Running backs only last so long.
I mean, with a power back like him.
And with the amount of carries he was getting. Like, he was getting so many carries a year. Like,
he had 300 carries in 19 and 20. 378 in 2020.
Yeah, didn't he sent the Ravens home twice, didn't he?
I believe 2019 and I think 2020.
2019, what a year, man. The Niners made the Super Bowl and then proceeded to lose a 10-point lead to Mahomes.
The most handsome quarterback in the history of the NFL.
Dude, that's actually facts, though. Like, Jimmy G is handsome. I'm just saying.
Hey, people can talk all the smack about certain quarterbacks as they want. I know a lot of people love talking smack about Jared Goff. Dude got $100 million guaranteed. His girl's a smoke show. So you know what? He's winning at life.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely.
He's doing a lot better than all of us combined. Even
Dude,
people that may be listening to this in the future and now, and even like random strangers we meet on the street. Jared Goff is doing better than all of us combined.
Yeah. It's...
Jack, did you have any questions?
I mean, besides, like, we kind of covered most of it from just the last few minutes of talking about different teams. So,
Oh,
always good to shoot the shit about sports, man.
Najee without the plate looked okay. But
yeah, the problem is I think he's still injured. I mean, his foot is still like, it's iffy. And I know like he I don't want to say he's giving me Trent Richardson vibes because I don't think he's that bad.
Oh, God. No.
But at the same time, I mean, I think this line's kind of giving him like making him skittish. And that was my biggest complaint about drafting him. It's like, who's blocking for him?
He looks just like Saquon Barkley did coming off injury.
Yeah.
Because he's not taking what he's given a lot of the time. He's trying to be too patient. And for Saquon, that meant that he was like so high up there in negative carries.
Mm-hmm.
But when Jalen Warren is kind of looking better than you, that... Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Jalen Warren has good burst. I know Steelers loved him in camp. So he's a little bulldog. He like gets the holes and just like slams them. And I mean, that's what you kind of need from a young running. Then you end up getting paid and you fall shit because that's how running backs roll in the modern NFL.
Yep.
Would you prefer James Conner over Najee Harris?
I think they unfairly scapegoated James Conner. He's more of like he's not a full-time bell cow. He's more like a specialist back, like a 1A, 1B type.
Yeah.
So I think that's why the Steelers wanted to go with a running back because they thought they were running back away, even though their O-line sucked in 2020. And it is what it is. I mean, I like James Conner. I'm glad he's doing well in Arizona, even though he's injured right now. So I'm always going to like him because, Pitt alum. I'm a Pitt fan. So unfortunately.
Of course. I do. So, do you watch, for example, I Am Athlete?
I do not, unfortunately.
Oh, they had this bit where they asked the people on them, who do you think is more responsible for the Patriots' dynasty, Belichick or Brady? If you could give a percentage, do you think it was a solid 50-50 or no?
I would say about the same. I know, I've always felt it was a symbiotic relationship. Belichick needed Brady and Brady needed Belichick. I know, the whole narrative came out that Belichick was carried by Brady when he won the Super Bowl. But if you looked at him in 2019, in his final year, Brady looked like he was falling apart.
Yeah.
And that was a problem. That's why I was sitting there why is Tampa Bay getting him? He looks done. And then he suddenly is throwing spirals and deep balls. I'm like, where the hell was this?
Yeah, it was it's a change up of he went from other than I would say the years with Randy, most of the years ahead was just a classic dink that really just simplistic dink and dunk offense, and then he moves over. I guess you would say. I mean, what type of? It was a very air raid sort of high. It was
I would say probably air raid offense. I would say best more than anything. Air raid, or I would say I know Belichick runs an Earhart Perkins, very old school I form, heavy run, short mid range passes, very West Coasty.
Yeah, he really he always he gets his rocks off on a really just solid two tandem running back, and then he'll once obviously I don't think people said, and I know he said that he's calling plays right now, and I know it is scaringly and shockingly Matt Patricia, but with all that being considered, he really does like the two tandem running back, and as soon as the defense gets a little bit slower, a little bit weary, then they'll try throwing. But right now my hands are kind of tied just because we have Zap, and I like Zap, but he just finished his second career start, And
rough and bad defenses too. I mean,
yeah,
I still think he's just a clone version of Mac Jones.
yeah.
Like
No,
if you look at them together, it's just like they play the same style, they have the same face. I mean, Zappy's done well. I'm not gonna lie, but when you play the worst defense in football and a Joe Woods outfit, it's not good. I mean,
and then we play the Bears next week, so I mean that's not going to help.
You're going to roll Zappy again. I mean,
can we get some QB whisperer Joe Judge headlines out there?
Joe Judge? Oh, don't worry, you might. I thought he was a special teams coach.
No, he's doing offense with Patricia right now.
Yeah, the dual threat,
yeah.
And they're going to pretend they're both geniuses, and some dumbass team's going to hire him again, like they did McDaniels. Yeah. By the way, have fun with that, Oakland. But when are people going to learn that skidding the Patriots of their second, like their leftovers, that never works? Because the brains of that operation is Belichick. He is hands-on in nearly everything in that organization, and he can do it because he wins. Everyone else is just like, they get coffees.
I feel like
thing is, you're right though. One second, Alex. I apologize. I just wanted a little anecdote. You said that they Matt Patricia and Joe Judge pretend that they're geniuses. I'm not joking. If you look at, I think it was Boston Press Pass or whatever it's called on YouTube. Joe Judge was interviewed in the offseason when he came in, and he had this long interview with people, just and just a stereotypical press conference. He was like, "Listen, guys," like at one of his answers, he started off with, "I classify the people working here, including myself," he was like, "as football junkies," and I was like, "Joe Judge, I wouldn't call you a football junkie."
No, maybe he is just like a drug junkie. Maybe that. Matt Patricia came out the final year of his Detroit thing, and then he defended his entire defensive play calling team by saying he was responsible for the greatest defensive play call in Super Bowl history, which was, remember, Malcolm Butler jumping and having a great read on Russell Wilson's pass to the 1-yard line. That was not Patricia. That was Malcolm Butler.
Yeah.
Yeah, he genuinely lives in the moment on that Super Bowl win. So often he refers to, I think he did that whole interview thing where he like displayed it and did like a presentation on that exact catch. And I'm like, dude, Belichick has beaten the Bills. He has his handwriting is in the Football Hall of Fame for like deconstructing the '90s Bills offense, and he's done it here. He did the greatest show on turf, 28-3. And you ask him, and he just wants to give you answers about the weather, special teams plays that he really liked, shit like that. Like it's so weird how simplistic he is.
Bill Belichick is just like. He just is like a YouTuber in some ways. He just sits in a film room all day and he just looks like shit. But it's like, you know what? That dude's in a film room. It's like his entire body's just tattered. He's just like, his eyes are drained. He's probably wired on coffee. That's Bill Belichick. And that's what made him great.
What is your your entire view from the beginning to right now view of Mike Tomlin?
I think he's a good coach. I just feel like he's past his expiration date. And I mean, it happens. It's happened with John Harbaugh in Baltimore too. I think like his defensive style has kind of lost its way. I mean, it's very Tampa 2 is very passive. He came from the Dungy system. And I feel like the players coach mentality, players love him, but it kind of wears thin when like you have issues like players complaining about how they practice. There's a lot of drama in the organization, stuff like that. And they called a really bad PI on Denver, but whatever. I hate when they.
Oh, sorry.
I'm sorry. I hate when they make underthrown passes as PI. It's annoying.
Yeah. I was gonna say. It also sucks. For John Harbaugh, because he keeps blowing 10-point leads every week pretty much. It's like,
I don't trust the Ravens. I knew they were going to lose to the Ravens just because or the Giants. I mean, I do not trust the Ravens. They keep blowing double-digit leads.
It's not like that was a 10-point lead where they had the ball. Like, no. You kind of knew the Giants were going to come right back and make it at least a one-score game.
Yeah, and then Lamar decided he wanted to play hero ball, and I'm like, why do you make that?
What was he doing on that botch?
It was a botch snap. Just throw it away and punt it, dude. He tried to force the ball, and it gave him a net of like 50 yards.
Yeah, that was. I mean, the Giants. In a lot of ways, I've said it because I've been like losing it over watching it in baseball, but the Giants have been so similar to the Guardians in how they're winning games.
The Deans, yeah. I mean, it is what it is. I mean, I'm not a big fan of the Guardians either, but I love their pitching, but I don't think they're really going to get past the Astros if they do get that far, just because the Astros are just a machine.
And I have some feeling that like those things that have been falling with the Yankees aren't going to fall with the Astros.
No, because the Astros don't rely on ego to, justify trades or pretend that their way is the right way. It's just arrogantly they're not the type to put Yordan Alvarez in the 1 or 2 hole.
Yeah.
Oh,
and so I'm hoping it's not that way, but I wouldn't be surprised if the Astros sweep.
Either or.
Yankees
I
or
mean,
the
I think the
Guardians?
Yankees both. I think the Guardians might win 2 games. Yankees will either lose in 4 or 5.
My question for you, Tree, is the Pirates. The Pirates. What is going on there?
Well, they're trying to rebuild. This is what I wanted from them in 2019, but they are made of a lot of suck. There was a lot of suck, and there's another bullshit PI penalty on Denver, but it's once again, like, they're trying to hope that the youth can come in and do stuff, but unfortunately that ain't happening because, I mean, they're the Pirates and they are the best comedy act in Pittsburgh. I've always said that.
Okay, and also the owner. Jack was talking about the owner earlier.
When your computer shat itself, I was lighting into Bob Nutting because they were confused when I said something about him. So I was.
Oh, Bob Nutting.
I got it all out.
I mean, Yinzers hate him. And
yeah.
I'm very indifferent. It's like, whatever.
I know I went to the Hall of Fame game. The one where he said before it, oh, don't focus on this season. This is about the history of the franchise or whatever.
Well, at least it's better than what Phil Castellini said.
Even though we were drowned out.
Well, where are you going to go? Come on, even Nutting wouldn't say that.
Oh, yeah. But yeah, even with Blue Jays fans drowning us out at the end of that game when they won, with Let's Go Jays or whatever, we got a solid 2 sections going with Sell the Team, which on Hall of Fame Day I'm happy about. I'll take it.
There was a Pirates a teenager. He took a picture with Bob Nutting, which I'm shocked somebody found Bob Nutting out in the wild. I had a shirt that just said "Sell the Team" on it.
It's great. It's the one thing that can unite everyone here.
Well, as I said, I'm nonchalant. I live in reality, so unfortunately, Nutting isn't going to sell. Why would he sell his biggest
money?
Why would he sell his biggest cash cow? He's his other empires. He sold Seven Springs, and it's a dying brand of mid-range newspapers. He's not selling the Pirates. He said on record he wants to give it to his daughters and his family once he moves on.
Yeah, I mean, he makes money.
So the Pirates are effed.
Yep.
And unfortunately, if we're lucky, maybe we'll get a year or 2 where we lose in the wild card series or whatever. But I have no expectations. You see, when you don't see them as a baseball team, you see them more as a comedy act. It's a lot more tolerable to watch.
Yeah.
All my fucks have been given from the Pirates. I'm at the point where it's whatever. I don't care.
Yeah. And it's sad because I am a baseball guy through and through. I grew up playing it. It is my favorite sport.
I mean, look, I was too young to remember the early 90s Pirates. So I grew up with the 20 years of losing. So that's one of the bucket list vids I want to do. Go over every year of the 20 years of losing, the 20 seasons in the abyss.
Oh, boy.
Because I have a lot of axes to grind about Cam Bonifay and Dave Littlefield. Oh, God. Dave Littlefield was such a hack. Oh,
yeah, now I'm finally at a place where I can go to games because back where I'm from, now that I'm here for school, back where I'm from, there wasn't a team within an hour, even a minor league team.
Really?
Yeah. So this is my first chance to get any live baseball, and it's the fucking Pittsburgh Pirates.
Well,
I'm better off driving all the way to Altoona.
Stadium's beautiful, dude.
This is true.
Yeah.
Like I've been to a handful of games, but I like feel bad. Like it feels dirty to go to a Pirates game.
Well, most of the people that go to Pirates games are opposing teams' fans because it's
This
a
is
cheap
true,
trip.
yeah.
You can go to the Pittsburgh airport, spend a nice weekend down there. If you're, let's say, Cleveland, it's a 2-hour drive.
Oh yeah.
Cincy, it's like a 5-hour drive. St. Louis, they come here all the time. It's a 10-hour car ride, or you take a little flight from St. Louis, a redirect, or, if you're the Cubs fan, you take a flight from Chicago to Pittsburgh. You spend the weekend. You fly your dubs. You get like tickets for like $30 a seat, which is like great. Like at the point, like now it's like that private 200s club. They're selling tickets for like $40 a ticket there, which is ridiculously cheap.
Yeah.
Yeah, it sounds like the Rams and their like whole flood the fucking stadium of opposing fans, or is it worse?
Well,
is it worse than the Rams?
It's worse because in LA they go to SoFi to be seen. Nobody's going to a Pirate game to be seen. They're going there for a cheap trip for the family for the weekend. It's just like random gimmicks. It's been about family entertainment. That's what the Pirates have been about.
On its
which
best
they do it well. Don't get me wrong. They have probably some of the best like in-game entertainment in the majors, but that's because they kind of have to.
Yeah, it feels a lot like a minor league game with a lot of that.
Mm-hmm.
But on its best days, PNC is like 20,000.
If that. There are days in September where it was like you got like pre-COVID numbers of like, 5,000 if that. Actual. The problem is they're all sold tickets. It's all sold tickets.
Like I went to the Sawinski walk-off against the D-backs in the summer a while back, and that's the only time I've seen it anywhere near full. Near. And the top level was still fully empty, but
I've seen a couple games like that. I remember going to a couple games in 2013 through 2015 when the Pirates were actually good. They filled that stadium, but we're bandwagon. And it is what it is.
And there's no reason to support it when they act the way they do as a franchise.
Yeah. It is nothing you can do about that, unfortunately.
Yeah.
As I said, I stopped caring. Does that make me a bad fan? I don't know. But there's no point. Until they put out a product that isn't shit, I'm not going to stop laughing at them.
Yeah.
Best comedy in Pittsburgh. That's all I'm going to say.
I know very few people that actually care whether they win or lose.
Dude, I hope they lose sometimes because I remember in the mid-2000s, they sucked. Or like the late 2010s, they pretended they were competitive. I was pissed when they traded for Chris Archer because I didn't think it was even that good to begin with, and you paid a premium rate, and it turned out to be an incredibly lopsided trade.
When Baz turned out to be the player to be named later, I
knew it was going to be like, just watch it be like Travis Swaggerty or Shane Baz. And it's like Shane Baz. I'm like, are you fucking kidding me?
Right? Like, how do you do that?
Like, I wasn't pissed about trading Glasnow because the Pirates were never going to develop him. I was pissed about trading Austin Meadows.
Yeah.
Because he was supposed to be your future in the outfield.
Yeah.
Okay, so I have a couple more questions. So for every sport, who is your favorite player currently, and who is your favorite player of all time for like every sport?
Ooh, interesting question. I know for hockey, my favorite player right now is Nathan McKinnon. He is a special player. He has a different dynamic. Just the way he plays dazzles. It's incredible. All time though, I mean, I got to go Mario Lemieux. I'm sorry, I have to. Local bias.
Yeah.
But he was an excellent player there regardless. There are a bunch of other players you can name. McGillney, Bure, Yager, stuff like that. But I would say that. NFL right now, I'd say my favorite player is probably Derrick Henry. I mean, you got to deny the power of a power back, just steamrolling people, just stiff-arming people to the spirit realm. Beautiful stuff. All time, ooh, that is a tough call. Steve Young was one of my favorite players as a kid.
Yes!
I would say...
Niners fan loves that one.
Yeah!
Steve Young was a great player.
I love Steve Young. Dude, he could have kept going, but he got freaking killed by the Cardinals defender. And dude,
thank Lawrence Phillips
after that.
Yeah, Lawrence Phillips missed his block. That's what happened.
Yeah. Yep.
Major League Baseball, my favorite player right now. Ooh, I got to go Dan Vogelbach. I got to go the big power dude. The greatest baseball player of all time. I was so pissed when the Pirates traded him. It's like, fuck you. There's no reason to go to these games anymore. And I was sad. Best player all time? Ooh. Shoot. Best player all time. Because the problem is, like, when you look at Pirates, like, it probably a lot of suckitude. I'd probably say Prime McCutcheon. Probably my favorite player. Because now he's not the same as he was, but, you know, like mid-2010s, he was the opening salvo of those really bad Pirates teams.
Okay. Do you watch basketball, or is basketball like not a sport you watch?
I watch a little bit from time to time. I remember liking the Raptors when I was a kid, so big Vince Carter fan. But modern, I don't really have a favorite player.
Okay. Can I interest you on Wardell Stephen Curry?
Steph Curry? He's not bad. I mean, all he does is just like I feel like he just has cheat codes and just shoots threes randomly. Yeah. He's kind of fucked up the game because I feel like all kids do nowadays is just like shoot threes from mid range.
It's actually fucked. I went to I don't even know I went to a men's UConn basketball game, and I shit you not, they played decent basketball, but they were kind of chucking up threes like it's nothing, and I'm like,
yeah, that's all they do nowadays.
You have a wide open layup. Why are you shooting a contested three? Stop.
Now my question is,
all they do is chuck threes. All they do is it's a lot of just cancerous personalities. It's just a lot of it's hard to watch.
Yeah.
Alex, why did you go up to stores and see a men's game?
No, I watched the women. I watched the women's game as well. Don't worry.
Okay.
But the best player in the country wasn't playing that game, so just fuck it. What was the point of going up to watch the women's team if Paige Buchers wasn't gonna play? She got injured. She got injured the week after we got our tickets. Let me just point that out. So we were going up we were gonna watch Paige. Nope, injured. Just whatever. Who cares? Mm-hmm. It was a fun experience. Stadium was rocking, so. And then college sports. You're a Pitt fan, obviously, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Who is your favorite all-time college player?
Oh, I gotta go Larry Fitzgerald. He was such a magical player, and the thing with Pitt is they have some outstanding talents that have come and gone. Fitz, Darrell Revis, Aaron Donald, James Conner, Jonathan Baldwin, who didn't pan out at the NFL level, unfortunately, Kenny Pickett, Israel Abanikanda, Jordan Addison, Sean Gilbert.
Pitt.
Why'd you have to mention Addison?
Yeah, I know, because he just got signed by a pro outfit in USC. It's all good.
Yeah, I can't blame him at all, but that's just
yeah, he got paid what, $1.5 million or something like that?
Yeah, and a house or something, right?
Yeah, that's what I mean. The NIL has just opened up a whole new can of worms.
And they reached out to him, he wasn't even in the portal.
Yeah.
That's what pisses me off about it.
That's how they do it. It's people are buying championships, and unfortunately, there's no integrity in college football. There never has been. Now it's just it used to be under the table. Like Reggie White, they gave his parents a nice house. And that's why he got his Heisman stripped. But if you're going to just give dudes all this stuff, Lincoln Riley got a house in Cali. They bought his old house in Oklahoma. They bought him. I think they gave him a multi-million-dollar bonus. They bought and they gave him a bunch of different stuff. Just give Reggie White his Heisman back. Terrell Pryor got banned from the NCAA because they just he wanted to sell tattoos.
Yeah.
Didn't they suspend Johnny Manziel a couple games because he had an autograph session?
Yeah, I was just about to mention that he got busted for charging for autographs, which is really scummy.
No, no, it's totally the worst thing that happened with the NCAA.
Totally. Definitely not Bobby Petrino. 100% not Bobby Petrino.
No,
One of
I
my
don't
favorite
even.
pieces of
he also gave the middle finger to the Falcons too. Didn't he leave halfway through? Bye, guys. And
he left halfway through the season.
He pieced
and left
out.
a note.
Yeah, he just pieced out. He just sent Todd Graham did the same thing with Pitt. He just sent a text message when he fucked off to Arizona State. I'm yeah, eat shit. That's a guy I want to go on a video on, Todd Graham. Because he had that scandal in Hawaii. I'm just sitting there with a smirk on my face. Yeah, eat shit, fucker. Yeah, come on.
Yeah.
High-octane football, my tainty ass.
I remember Bobby Petrino. I watched a video on Bobby Petrino by KTO. And
yep.
I know you went on sports therapy.
I did.
Yeah, so KJ made a video on Bobby Petrino, and I watched it, and it's like, dude, he's such a dick. Like,
he is.
He quits on programs like in 2 seconds if it doesn't go his way. Like, he cheated on his wife and kids with like his assistant or whatever. Like, and it wasn't even his assistant; it was like a coaching assistant or like a coaching intern. Like, it was a female coaching intern or whatever.
Yeah, and that's why he got into that motorcycle accident. It's because he was with that girl, and everyone's like, "Wait a minute, this isn't his wife."
Yeah.
And then he had that with the brace. And the sad part is he still has more wins than Urban Meyer.
Does he really?
Yes.
Oh
Bobby Petrino has 3 wins, Urban Meyer's 2.
Oh, no.
You can make an argument for Urban Meyer being the worst NFL head coach of all time.
Oh, no, he definitely is. Like, I don't think there's a shadow of a doubt.
There's Bobby, and then... Yeah, Urban.
Saban didn't even do that bad, though. Like, I wouldn't include Saban in that, because Saban didn't do terrible, but he just...
Well,
like,
Saban was
just...
but like he was like 7-9, 8-8. Most college coaches don't really pan out. The only one I can really see who panned out was Harbaugh, and he ended up getting fired. Pete Carroll was an NFL coach before he went to USC.
Okay, yeah. But, like, Harbaugh worked out, and I don't even know why the fuck we fired him, because
Jimmy Johnson. Jimmy Johnson's the only other one I can think of.
Yeah, but the Niners like fired Harbaugh because like he made a Super Bowl and lost it, and then the next year he made the conference championship and then lost it, and then
it was like 8-8. It was a power. Yeah,
but he didn't even do like that bad. Like we didn't do that bad in the 8-8 season, and then Shanahan though, dude, I don't. You
Jim Harbaugh's beef with Pete Carroll was dope though.
Shanahan, you should have immediately rescinded his offer once 28-3 happened.
Yeah. I mean,
I like stand on that hill.
I mean, I like him because he's offensive minded and I really like offense, but like, you know.
But the problem is like so-called offensive geniuses don't work.
Yeah.
And that's nearly picked.
Like,
you gonna call that roughing the passer?
Oh no.
I'm sorry.
No, you're good. But like with Shanahan, it's really weird. It's like he can be really, really good one game and then he'll be god awful the next.
His play calling stubborn, and the problem is like there's no off switch for his offense.
Exactly.
Justin Fields sends his regard.
And it's roughing the passer. What's this roughing the passer call? He fell into the quarterback. What the hell do you want him to do?
Dude, that's some Madden shit, bro. Madden, if the quarterback throws the ball and you just graze the fucking quarterback, it's roughing the passer. It's so... I hate Madden.
I didn't know Madden was that
realistic. The problem is, like, the NFL is adapting to Madden because of all the glitches and bugs and stuff. It's like, dude, the football's terrible. And Madden, guess what? The football's going to be terrible. I hated Madden since that exclusive deal came in. I'm an NFL 2K5 junkie.
Dude, I've never played NFL 2K. They NFLPA needs to do what FIFA did and just scrap EA. They remove it. Don't let them be the exclusive.
They won't.
They make
because
too
the problem
much
is
money.
the NFL gets too much money.
Yeah.
I mean, that's why Madden doesn't give a shit, because Ultimate Team is where they make all their money.
Yeah, Alex.
Yo, hold up! I haven't spent a single dollar on Ultimate Team this year. I'm rehabbing. Okay.
I'm proud of you.
You see YouTubers like you'll watch Flight Reacts and he has like a $15,000 Madden Ultimate Team, and I'm just like, dude.
I watch that sometimes. It's hilarious.
Dude, you watch those? Yeah, dude, those are my favorites.
I watch them sometimes. I remember one, like, I think it was like early 2020 when he blew like a big lead. They just started in the chat just calling him Texans Reacts. I'm like, oh God. I watch it sometimes just to laugh. Because that dude is such a casual, but it's hilarious at the same time.
I think it's funny though. He'll say that like my team is better than his team, and then he'll like scream into the controller, like you're bad, and then he'll just lose. And it's
like you're bad, and then you immediately throw into triple coverage for a pick six, and he's like, "Wow, no!"
Yeah, that sounds like somebody you know.
Does it?
Yeah, it's almost like that's like what I do.
Did any of you guys ever play? Apparently, from what I've seen, the best sort of Jesus regarded Madden was Madden 08, and apparently it's like amazing, God tier level. I watched like a video on it, and But I was just
I never
if you
played
guys ever played it. No, apparently it
not,
had so
unfortunately.
much customization and
As far as
enormous
Madden's-
detail.
The stretch from like 08 to like 12, like Madden 12 was also pretty good. Was fine, but it's still Madden.
Yeah, it's
I mean, at the end of the day, it's just like, it's okay.
I do have a
Like-
question though.
Yeah.
Oh no, Alex, you go first.
No, you're good. No, I was.
Oh, okay. If you had the option to like on your channel with your fan base play any video game and people would show up and watch you, whether it be recorded video or a stream, like a video game of your choosing, what would you sit down and play that you would enjoy and commentate over?
The problem is there are so many different options I want to do. Like there's a part of me that wants to do like a sort of sports ball spoof on something like Rome Total War or Mountain Blade Bannerlord, something ridiculous where it's like, and the village was immediately raped and destroyed. God help all the poor people in the city of Carthaginium, for the earth was salted repeatedly, something like that. But there's also like, I mean, maybe a sports title. I've done those once in a while. Maybe I'll play like a game of Madden just to laugh at it and how shitty it is. NHL, like most of the sports games, the problem is they're just like, And most of them are like EA based, so it's like, what can you really do? I'd rather play like something like out of the park baseball or like a simulator game, like management simulator, but those don't translate well to like streaming because they're single player experiences.
Unless you've got like a foolish baseball type audience where it's just all of them are just nerds.
But even then, like if I'm a nerd, I'm not really gonna watch like somebody else play a Dynasty. I'll do my own.
I'm saying this as someone who is very much a nerd.
Yeah,
like I want to make that absolutely clear.
Don't worry, I'm a nerd too. I'm just saying.
By the way, speaking of baseball, the Yankees game just got postponed to tomorrow, and I am not happy about that.
Sad
Jack,
Panda.
we can watch it together. Don't worry, I will be your expert.
What time is it tomorrow?
When it ends, 4:07.
What time? 4.
Yeah.
Well, I hope it happens at the end of it happens during dumpster fire so we can laugh at the Yankees.
Oh, yes.
I'm sorry, I'm rooting for Cleveland. I'm rooting for Cleveland because fuck the Yankees.
You have every reason to. I understand.
If the Steelers ever do go to a Super Bowl, are you buying tickets immediately? Is that going to be like a video thing?
Buy tickets or stream it?
Like I'm talking about
to pay.
I don't know. I really don't know.
I feel like that an expectation would like Steelers going to Super Bowl. Like you would kind of have to. I'm not like saying that you have to, but I feel a lot of people be like, you're not gonna go. Like you would make like a big trip of it.
I remember the one game I went to was the 2009 AFC Championship game. I got the tickets for my 21st birthday. Steelers and Ravens. That was an electrifying atmosphere.
Was that in
I can only
the Heinz?
imagine.
Yeah, like the one where they played the Cardinals. And I think I went in when they went to the Super Bowl against Green Bay. I went to the conference championship game against the Jets. Okay. Remember, they nearly blew that game, and I was pissed.
Wait, that's the one with what's his name? Mark Sanchez? Oh no.
Yep, Mark Sanchez
that
and
was
Rex
Mark
Ryan.
Sanchez. Yep.
Oh no, dude, no. That's the New York Giants. He's Sanchez. He was the savior of their franchise, dude.
Yep.
Of course.
That's why you don't buy the hype.
Oh god, this Sanchez. He beat the Patriots in the playoffs somehow. So
yeah,
he did.
Well,
yeah, he did.
That's how the Steelers got to the Super Bowl. You can't beat New England when it matters.
Wait, you beat us in 2018 though, and I remember that video.
2018 from the Steelers game, and then they ended up blowing it because they lost to the Saints.
Yeah. Dude, just,
they didn't deserve to make the playoffs that year, so I'm not pissed.
Shoot, I had a question. It was on Alex. You got anything?
Yeah. What's it like? Because like we have, we at JAMSports have our podcast. Like, what's it like having a podcast with like the Clickbait Sports crew and stuff? Because like I watch Dumpster Fire, GPS, and Clickbait every week, every single time, and it's freaking funny as hell.
It varies. I know they have different audiences. There are people that hate me. There are people that hate Tom. There are people that hate Brandon. There are people that despise Scooter, and then there are people that think 5 is just like the boring one. And he gets so offended when you call him the boring one. It's hilarious. So funny.
I mean, No, I'm kidding.
He's a Giants fan.
Hey, listen, make fun of Tom.
Sports fan.
Make fun of Tom Grossi all you want. He quote unquote tried out for the Packers, and I think in his front yard or something.
Oh yeah, he tried out for the Packers in his front yard. He tried to catch NFL passes and immediately died from Kurt Benkert.
We love you, Tom.
Yeah.
I mean, isn't that how who was it? Tim Boyle got a job?
I don't know. I forget.
Because he played he played at UConn in Eastern Kentucky. He was dog shit in college for bad schools, and he just showed up, and the Packers handed him a job. I'm pretty sure.
I always thought he was the punter for a while. Then he went to the Lions, and he was not good.
Didn't he play a game? Didn't he throw a touchdown for the Lions? I swear he did.
Yeah, he started.
He did. Yeah, he started against the Browns. It was one of the ugliest games I saw last year.
Is it better than Kendall Hinton?
God, no. But yes.
Kendall Hinton. Well, the problem with Kendall Hinton, he was a practice squad wide receiver. You can't expect him to do well.
Yeah, no.
So that's why you can't go hard on him.
I give him a round of applause. He literally didn't they say that they didn't even practice him just for the illusion, just in case I think that they said they didn't practice just to not have any film or anything, or for the enemy team to figure it out. I think what happened
was they didn't figure it out until Friday or Saturday night that they weren't going to be able to play their quarterbacks. So they got forced to play Kendall Hinton. He was the only one with quarterback experience.
And the sad part is, I think that game might still have been more entertaining than that Giants-Bears game from last year.
No, the Giants-Bears game was hilarious last year.
Okay. I guess we might
we've had some awful games. Like Broncos-Colts this year.
Dude, that was horrible.
So bad. It was so bad. And then you have Washington-Chicago, which is almost as bad. And then everyone says you should do a greatest game on it. I just don't have the time. I thought about doing one, but it's I feel like the problem is all the chaos is happening, so now everyone wants me to do a bunch of different stuff. It's dude, I'm already super delayed on the NHL Haters Guide. I can't wait any longer.
Yeah. Don't forget another really bad game, Broncos-Niners this year. Terrible game.
That was awful.
The
only game worse than that was Broncos-Colts. And the Broncos have had some awful offensive games.
Yeah.
I wanted to say that we live streamed, me and Alex live streamed that particular game. The funny part is, Tree, it was so bad that I got intoxicated, and Alex's fun just became interviewing me, asking me questions about players, and we just ignored the game.
Dude, at this rate, I don't know. I probably do the same thing. I might stream Steelers-Dolphins this weekend. Shits and giggles. It's a primetime Steeler game. Okay. I'll piss off Grossi. I'll troll him a couple times. Talk about how shitty his Packers are. But at the same time, I mean, it's whatever. I might just do a random Q&A or just get drunk and shoot the shit. I don't know.
Yeah. What is your beer of choice when you decide to drink?
It varies on the thing with me for beer. It varies on emotion, style, the weather outside, mood. There are a lot of different beers I can try. Right now, it's pumpkin stout porter season. It's that cold, warming, sort of beer. You got to just get into a mood, and that's the thing with beer, and that's why I love it. If I were to ever do a second channel, it would be a beer channel, and I've wanted to do one for a while. It's just time constraint.
If you went to a restaurant, a nice restaurant, and you had a choice for a mixed drink, what is your drink? I live in alligator land at the and you're in the Sunshine State, and so I as being a tropical state, I like a rum runner on a hot day. But if you had to choose a mixed drink, where are you going?
Oh, it varies because I know I sometimes get on certain fits for a while. I used to be big into rum and cokes, but I had stopped doing them because they would go down too easily. I used to be I was on a White Russian kick for a while. Oddly enough, this was 5 years ago.
Why do the first thing I imagined was the Big Lebowski when you said White Russian.
You know what a White Russian is, right?
Well, yeah, I do, yeah.
Yeah.
But
Kahlua, coffee liqueur, a little coffee. Well, not coffee, but vodka. And they did it with vanilla vodka. It was pretty good.
You do like schnapps?
I'm not a big schnapps guy.
Yeah,
It's weird because I used to bartend. So like once in a while
Really?
I'll do a Manhattan too. So it was more like a waiting tables job. It wasn't really like bartending, but it was a decent job.
Out of all the jobs that you've had, like over the years, you said that you did stuff in restaurants. You just mentioned bartending. Any jobs that you would enjoy going back to again, and any job that you wouldn't be paid to go back and show your face just because you hate it?
Oh, I mean, at the end of the day, a job's a job. As long as it pays, I guess I'll be okay. Like, I feel like the older I get, the more I want to work with my hands. So maybe something like manual labor. Like maybe learn a trade, do something in that. Maybe, I don't know, maybe like any sort of trade, I would say. Like, world needs carpenters, world needs plumbers. Like, actually doing stuff and having a sense of accomplishment instead of sitting on your ass on a computer and shitposting. There's a sort of pride about that.
You're
So
really
maybe something along those regards.
Fire pit, huh?
My
Well, it's not
shitposting
just the
skills-
fire pit. It's a couple of things. It's shitposting doesn't get you jobs at Fortune 500 companies. So they ask you, it's like, oh, so your resume has a huge hole on it for the last 5 years. What have you been doing with your life? I'll just sit there. It's like, I shitpost on the internet. And they're like, get out of my office. So that's how it goes.
Wait until you see my rant on Reddit.
Oh, yeah. Oh, easily. It's like, oh, dude, I had a couple AMAs on Reddit. Yeah, those are my references.
I think I might have asked you a question, and I do know. I think you guys played a couple weeks ago. You did a live stream where I think you played the Browns. I can't remember who you played.
Yes, I did. Steelers Browns.
And all the way at the end of the stream, I donated Randy Moss is the greatest wide receiver of all time. And you commented that, and I thank you for doing that.
I try to respond to everyone I can, dude. I appreciate it, brother.
No problem. Yeah, no, I'm not. I'm just saying that the environment watching the Steelers games genuinely is hilarious. Just because listen, it's because that you're just like the rest of us. Like you're like a casual football fan. Like as Bill Burr says, you just sit on the couch with a beer and a pizza and scream, "That's not holding!" Like, and you just get mad. But yeah, just like the rest of us, and that's why I think that's why the three of us relate to you so much.
Mm-hmm. Like, we're just dudes. That's all it is. Like, I'm nothing special. I'm just a guy. And I think once you realize that and you're not like unique or individual, I think you realize you'll start to do better in life because you don't have expectations. Like,
Yeah.
Okay.
But you are a professional shitposter. Let's
professional, quote unquote. Yeah, that totally gets the ladies. Totally. Yes, my sub 2% female audience.
Hell yeah.
Maybe you get into basketball, you can start talking about Kendall Jenner, and maybe your audience will go up. Your female audience will go up.
Yeah, I might get to like 3%.
Yeah.
You have any big plans for the weekend?
For the weekend, unfortunately, probably just working on stuff. I know. Probably this week it's going to be sports ball, which I'm working on right now. I got the writing done, the VO done today. Probably going to do a little more of that. And then, congrats Dodgers. I'm going to do Dave Roberts Over Manager 2023, the hottest new video game from Dodger Media.
Oh, nice.
Mm-hmm.
If this is a good one, if you feel free to go in as in-depth or as not in-depth as you like. The process of like creating a sports ball video, let's just say for the sake of it, like NFL, I know the classic thing that I forgot what's his name, the guy who voiced Bugs Bunny and
Mel Blanc?
Mel Blanc. He said that, I remember on one of the talk shows he was on, he said that they're like the only people that record over the they do the voices first, and then they actually write the cartoons, and that's where I got the inspiration for this question. But I thought about that. Like, do you do the writing over, like the writing over? Do you do the commentary, what you write down first? Do you get all the clips you need? Like, what is the process here?
Well, what I do is every Sunday, what I usually do is a combination of football watching and Red Zone. It's a lot of that. and then I'll formulate my ideas during the process. And by the 4 p.m. games, I try to start writing like my scripts for the 1 p.m. games. I write out everything. I don't really commentate and go as I go. So what I usually do is like I try to write it down, try to get a basic synopsis of everything. I try to shoot for about a minute. But unfortunately, most of these games have gone haywire, so it's more than a minute. And that's why the sports ball content videos have gone from like 5 minutes to 12 minutes to 15 to 20, and now it's like 25. I'm sitting there like, are you kidding me? This season's going to kill me. But most of the time, I finish my writing, try to get that done on Sunday. So I do like the 1 p.m., 4 p.m. So I'm kind of watching stuff in the background while I'm writing. Finish that up. Monday morning, Monday afternoon, get the vocals done. And then I have like an editor help me out with certain aspects of sports ball, like skeleton edits and that stuff. And I do individual segments for games, so it's released on Wednesday. So like this week, I'm working on segments for Jacksonville and Indianapolis, Baltimore, New York Giants, San Francisco, and Kansas City and the Giants, or Kansas City and the Bills. And then I did Washington, Chicago for Thursday night because I could do that like easy. It's like the weird games that like take a lot of time I'll do because it's just like there are a lot of moving parts. And then for the most part, once that's done, you piece it together, get your skeleton cut out of the way. You have any suggestions for what I do, run with that. And then like the segments like I've already done, they're already like finished. So it's like I don't have to worry about that. We're all good there.
You do seem like – sorry.
Oh, go ahead, man. Go ahead.
No, okay. Yeah, I was just going to say you do seem like the type of guy that would like read like genuinely like there are big YouTubers that like comment what you want down below and I'll read them, but I do genuinely believe you seem like a type of person that will scroll through comments and stuff like that and like comment on people.
Because the problem is too with like YouTube comments, I wish I could respond to more of them. It's just impossible now because there's just so many. I know you can actually get good feedback from them. And that's why, like, you have to respond and be receptive to any sort of criticism, even though, like, some of it is complete bullshit. At the same time, you have to have the right to say it. And that's why I'm not going to, like, block anybody or ban anybody or anything like that. I've never been that type of dude. So...
Didn't you get blocked by the Steelers Twitter?
Yes.
Wait, what the fuck?
Speaking of, I remember that was like the intro to one of your videos.
Yes, it probably happened a while ago, and then I remember it just happening. I'm like, wait, I got blocked by these dudes? I remember finding out about it like when I came back from work at like 1 a.m. I think I had like 2 beers as like, like after shift. And I'm just laughing hysterically for 5 minutes like, this team blocked me. Holy shit. And it was the greatest feeling in the world. It's like, I've made it, Ma. I made it as a shit poster. I got blocked.
Mom, I'm free.
Yep. Then, like, the other badge of honor is randomly being blocked by Adam Schefter.
No, you didn't.
I know why he did it because I shit posted about him, like, being called Mr. Editor. And he just went on a blocking spree of a bunch of people.
Oh, why I oughta?
Yeah, I mean, whatever. The only problem is everyone retweets Adam Schefter, and it's like, oh, I can't see it. Why? Because I'm blocked. But whatever.
At least you have the other guy. I forget his name, but the other shit reporter. Isn't there 2 of them? There's Adam Schefter, and there's what's his name?
You can find shit, but there's Rappaport.
Yeah, Rappaport's not shit.
Okay,
Rappaport's not
I'm
shit.
talking about
I'm okay with Ian. I'm okay with Ian.
He's employed by the NFL. There's nothing you can do about that.
Oh, okay.
And there's the other guy that's with like what PFF now that's been kind of stepping into that role too.
Yeah, PFF, Ari Myrov.
Yeah, there you go.
Dov Kleeman is one. He's like, eh.
I don't like the fact that like anybody with enough random like Twitter followers can just say the most random statements and it'll get posted because I do follow team subreddit like once a week I'll be in the Patriots subreddit and some random person like a quote unquote reporter or / journalist will be like Odell Beckham signing with New England and I'm like bro come on now like every week it's like there's a strong connection between this high value star player. And I'm just like, dude, I don't know who you are. Why you're not a like? No offense, I'm not sure. I know I'm a random guy. Like I'm the random guy, but still.
The reason why that stuff gets out there is because the agents want that out there. They want to create bidding wars for their clients. And also, that's what Adam Schefter thrives on. It's like, it's not because Adam Schefter's a respected journalist is because they want that information out there. That's why they give that info to Adam Schefter. There's an ulterior motive behind that info going out.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, and the check mark is powerful as far as if you're talking about random guys putting stuff out there.
Oh, yeah.
Sometimes. Like today,
I have tried to apply for
the
the check mark once or twice. I was rejected. I'm like, whatever.
There was like a talk show host in Cleveland that said something about like, apparently the Yankees want to postpone this game. And that went everywhere. Like people were buying in that there was some conspiracy by MLB to postpone it without rain for a bit there. And I was like,
totally conspiracy,
right? Check mark. Just because this guy has a check mark doesn't mean that he actually has a source. Like, you got to calm down for a second. Get someone to corroborate it. I don't know.
Dan Clark was a big one. Remember the stuff about Freddie Freeman's agent, and then he actually got called out for bullshit? We thought it was true for a little bit. Then he realized it's like, oh, it's not. Well, because everyone else, there was no other evidence to corroborate it. It was just like an unbiased rumor. And then I think like the agent actually sued.
Yep.
Dan Clark, because I don't know if Freeman like cut ties with his agent or what, but it was a weird situation.
Yeah. Pat Leonard had a gem with the Kadarius Toney stuff earlier on TikTok too.
Yeah.
Oh,
well, I think he's a fake reporter, isn't he? Oh no, that's Wesley Steinberg.
That's Steinberg. I love Steinberg. I love Steinberg and Gooden for baseball.
Yeah.
They're funny, but no, Leonard just acts like a fake reporter.
See.
Is it one of those is it like a Norm Macdonald, like I am successful but I'm gonna act fake because that's like the whole point of the bit, or is he just genuinely a nobody who wants to be somebody?
He works for like the New York Daily News, and he has
it's a Daily News. That's all.
Yeah, and they're like the wrong sources, so he gets fed everything that's wrong and reports
they feed him bullshit. It's like Manish Mehta with the Jets.
Oh my god!
And so
did he get fired?
He's got the check mark, all of that. And it's always wrong. But I actually don't know if he got fired. I don't really pay attention to the Jets.
Well, yeah, he got fired in 2020.
Yeah, that's
just great journalism right there, Jack. That's just fantastic journalism.
Like with the Toney thing, someone told Leonard to put it out there that he was getting traded to get Toney to show up to camp. Pat Leonard's just their fall guy for everything. It's so funny.
Well, they wanted to they were looking at trading Leonard for a little bit.
Or Toney?
Yeah, Toney.
Yeah. Well,
Tevin Jenkins, they were looking at trading too for Chicago, but they never did.
Trying to get him gone and listening are two different things in that case. But I wouldn't be surprised if they're trying to get him gone now because he's been out for like 3-4 weeks on a hamstring injury. But he didn't really. It just kind of popped up. And things just tend to pop up for him right before games where you can't call bullshit on one specific injury, but at a certain point when there's a pattern, you can't keep getting hurt 2 days before a game and then missing the game out of nowhere. Anyway, I have a very important question here.
Hell yeah.
What do you think happens between the Steelers and the Dolphins this week? Is karma going to continue to roll over these Dolphins?
I have no idea. It's probably going to be a mess. I can see the Steelers bullshitting their way to a random win because this is just how it rolls.
The Dolphins are cursed with the Tua stuff now.
Isn't Tua playing though?
No.
Didn't he just get cleared?
Yes, he will be starting apparently this weekend.
He watched McGruber. He is at 100% health right now.
There we go. That's obviously what you do with a concussed person that badly. Put him on a plane and watch a movie.
Yeah, I think it's funny. I think I read somewhere that wasn't the doctor who got fired? Unfortunately, he's probably a scapegoat in that entire situation. Yeah. Just because with the game previously where he got knocked on his back and he got up and he physically stumbled and fell over, and I'm easily listen, I'm an NFL game and I love high flying offense, but help the guy. He looks, and then the next game he gets knocked out. And then also screw WEEI for the comments that they made, the stupid I won't even mention it and but give them any attention. But yeah, fuck them for making some stupid ass comments. But yeah, I hope Tua is getting better. I do think it is funny that like there was an actual massive report on our NFL and everything that like Tua watched McGruber on the way on the flight home, and I thought that was funny that was an actual talking point for people on news. But yeah.
I mean, the NFL did come out and say that firing the doctor was not what they would have done.
Yeah, it was just
like,
it was just a big scapegoat. Oh, did the Panthers didn't win? No, they got blown out by the Rams, right?
Nah, bad man gone didn't work this time.
Dang it! Yeah, we had this theory that if the Panthers losing holy crap, I forgot his name.
Rule.
Matt Rule. If they got rid of Matt Rule, they would have like a bad man gone game where they just like turn into Goku and just beat the shit out of the Rams. But we were wrong.
I would have been very happy if that happened, because then we would only had to worry about the Seahawks, because they would be tied with our record. But no, we have to deal with the Rams. We play the Chiefs and then the Rams, and I'm scared.
I'm gonna totally love to watch that Chiefs game. That's gonna be interesting,
dude. With how banged up the Niners defense is right now, I am very scared.
Listen, actually, one question: Is Kittle healthy?
Yes.
You're gonna be fine.
We're not. We just lost to Atlanta because our defense is fucked.
Just clone Kittle. Just put him in every position.
Like, imagine this. Like, the Steelers' defense is fucked beyond belief right now. Now, Niners' defense fucked behind. It's not good. I think we're getting Nick Bosa back, so that's a little bit of pass rush. But we're like down like both starting corners. We were down both safeties, but Hufanga came back. We're down like 4 defensive linemen. Like. It's gonna be rough.
Do you what do you like so far of Pickett?
He seems all right. It's too early to tell on a lot of his stuff, but he's doing all right. Like he's holding his own.
Better than Trubisky.
Yeah, as I said, he's at least moving the ball.
Though, did he not go into concussion protocol last game?
Yeah, he's in concussion. So we'll see if he starts. We'll see.
Okay.
How much of Kenny Pickett do you think is just not a lot of film on him in professional sports, and how much do you think it is natural talent?
I have no idea. It's too early to tell on either or. I feel like a lot of his limitations are because of the bad scheming by Matt Canada.
Yeah.
But there's not much he can do.
Yeah, why isn't he fired, by the way? Like, is this not like an issue?
Here's the thing with the Steelers.
They don't fire
Steelers don't fire coach. They don't fire coaches. Their contracts retire, or they retire, or their contracts expire. It has happened with every coach. It's a stubborn loyalty system. That's why they don't fire coaches. That's why Tomlin will never, ever, 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 ever get fired. Never.
Also,
it would take this season becoming a dumpster fire for even a thought of it.
Yeah, that's what I mean. That's why I don't try to call for Tomlin to be fired, because I know it's never going to happen.
And it's not like he's doing a terrible job, but sometimes you just
as I said, he's past his expiration date.
Yeah,
that's the problem. Like, I wanted him fired after the 2018 collapse, but at that point, it's like, once again, you're never firing Tomlin, so there's no point.
What a new change of scenery do you think could give Tomlin some new life?
I don't know. I think he just retires, to be honest with you, because I don't know if there's anything else he can prove. I mean, he's already going to Canton, like it or not. Because they're going to go on this like he's never had a losing season shit. Even though he's had a bunch of 8-8s and it's been carried by talent for the last decade.
Here I come to save the day.
Mm-hmm.
Christ.
That's actually a genuine question. Jack, perk up your ears. What do you think, Eli Manning, Canton, yes or no?
Oh.
It'll probably take a bit. I think it's possible, but as I said, he'll probably get in because of the name and the rings.
That sounds about right.
It'll take a bit. Like, he's not going to come in anytime soon.
I don't see a world where he doesn't end up getting in. I think that's mostly because it's already been established as the Hall of Very Good for some quarterbacks.
Also, remember, like, after the 100th anniversary, they just threw in a bunch of random dudes.
Yeah.
So
The precedent is set that he's done enough to get in, even if he wasn't necessarily the most deserving guy. He's got the resume for it.
I think the quote by Prime is, if you say their name out loud and you don't have to think about whether or not they deserve the Hall of Fame, they deserve the Hall of Fame. So like Peyton Manning, yes. Tom Brady, yes. Something like along those lines.
No, I'm kidding, man.
The Hall of Fame just isn't run like that.
Yeah, I know. But Eli will get in for I'm willing to bet you could take out 2011. Him beating my 07 Patriots, like him doing that is good enough, like because he rewrote history essentially on that team. Him, Tomlin, and I'm forgetting defense on that. He retired immediately after. Famous defensive player. Jack, help me out here.
Ray Lewis?
Strahan. Yeah, Strahan. Like that. Yeah, they really. They literally rewrote history. And then 2008, Brady he tears his ACL by, pretty sure it was Bernard Pollard.
It was Bernard Pollard.
Yeah, that dude genuinely scared. Like I wake up sometimes. Yeah, I wake up sometimes middle of the night in a cold sweat thinking about Bernard Pollard. But yeah, he eviscerated Wes Welker's knee, I think. But yeah, just with that alone, he's going to the Hall of Fame.
I have
Mo should be in the Hall of Fame for injuring Drew Bledsoe. Because what happened after Drew Bledsoe got injured, right?
Yeah. Tom Brady.
Yep.
Yep. Not fun.
Well, are we just going to put Mo Lewis in the Hall of Fame for injuring Bledsoe?
I don't recognize that as actual
Hall of Fame
NFL
injury.
lore.
There we go.
Mo Lewis had a solid career otherwise. I think he played like 10 plus years.
Yeah.
Actually,
Brady,
I
man.
think he did, yeah.
Tree, I have a question for you. I'm very hard, like I'm very hard set on my stance in this. Is Calvin Johnson a first ballot Hall of Famer?
I say yes. Unfortunately, receivers don't really get first ballot attention. There are a lot of really good ones that take a long time to get in, but I believe Calvin Johnson is a first ballot Hall of Famer.
So, can I please interest you in he did not play long enough and did not technically accumulate the stats like some of the Hall of Fame receivers?
He retired in his prime, plus with Terrell Davis and Tony Baselli in the Hall of Fame, it doesn't really matter anymore.
That's true.
You also have to consider the fact that if he was on, no offense to the Lions, but full offense to the fucking Lions, he was on the Lions. And if he was on a different team with someone else throwing to him, it could have been a completely different story.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's true. Like, even like he had Stafford throwing to him for a bit.
Yeah.
But now you can't even
Stafford got his receivers killed.
Yeah.
There's the reason the guys that had success were like Megatron and Galladay.
Yeah.
The big-bodied guys that could play that style.
But here's my problem. Now I'm conflicted because for the entirety of for his entire career, it's always been Pat Stafford. But now he's a world champion, and now I'm just I kind of have to give him credit where it was basically a buying a Super Bowl team. Don't get me wrong, but they are world champions, and you kind of have to respect that. So I'm kind of conflicted.
And the thing with the Rams too is you can bitch about the way they did it, and they've destroyed their future because they threw. All they're gonna do is they're gonna point to that ring. That's all they're going to do.
Yeah. It
justifies everything they've done.
I mean, it also helps that you have the best defensive player in the NFL for the past, since 2014 when he got drafted?
Well,
Aaron Donald?
A couple of them. I mean, you have Aaron Donald, you have Jalen Ramsey. I mean, you had Eric Weddle come in randomly.
Von Miller.
He came out of retirement, won a ring. Von Miller, yep.
I was still more
Leonard
impressed.
Floyd.
Yep.
In my honest opinion, if you compare both teams, or the three Rams teams, I'm still more impressed by the 2001 Greatest Show on Turf. I think if you want to go look at you could say that that World Champions team recently was stacked. I do genuinely believe that that 01 Rams team was completely stacked more, out the wazoo to a point.
The one squad was loaded.
Yeah.
You had
Kurt
what,
Warner,
3 Hall of Famers?
I think more than that.
4?
I mean, Torrey Holt's probably a Hall of Famer.
Marshall Faulk, Torrey Holt, Kurt Warner,
Isaac Bruce. And then Orlando Pace, so 5.
Oh, yo, that dude. I mean, the Rams probably have maybe Stafford. Maybe.
Stafford's not making.
That is the world. That is
If
the
he
world's
could,
strongest maybe, my friend.
well, no, yeah, it
he
is.
is
But
not
like, if
making-
he continues
he's
to
not
play
making
for a couple of years, if he keeps playing for like 5-ish years, he might. But
I mean, with his elbow being shot, I don't know.
I don't. Again, it's a big. If he's able to play 5 more decent years, maybe. But that again, as May said, it's a huge maybe. But you got Von Miller, Aaron Donald.
I mean, Von Miller's on the Bills now, but
Yeah,
We're
no. But I'm
talking
talking
about
about that
last
Rams Super Bowl team. Who's a Hall of Famer?
Another fun fact about Von Miller: he scares the fuck out of me.
He should because he's very good.
He
He's going
is.
to
And
ruin your quarterback.
He is literally. We are going to play them in Buffalo, and he is probably. I am so scared of Von Miller. Dude, I don't. He's going to destroy us. I genuinely like Josh Allen. Josh Allen is just going to demolish us. We'll have a fair fight in Gillette. We're not gonna have one of those like Hall of Fame, not Hall of Fame, but like all-time record like running the ball like we did last year. That was like a fluke. I don't think that that's gonna happen. Because Belichick never basically does the same thing twice. But yeah, we're going into what's the name of their stadium in Buffalo? The
Highmark now?
Was it in Orchard
Highmark.
Park or
Highmark,
no?
I think it is Highmark.
Oh yeah, we're going to go into that stadium, and we're going to get like clowned on. We're going to be a bunch of bozos, I think. Honest opinion, no bias. But yeah,
The Bills are a machine.
they are.
It would be
Dude,
hard
they
for a team
actually
like the
are.
Patriots not to get killed.
I've said this on the podcast, I think last week, that if they went to the Super Bowl and either won or got clowned by whoever they were playing, they wouldn't be as strong as they are this year. Getting clowned in the AFC Championship with 13 seconds, no offense, sorry Bills fans, sorry about that. But like I think that getting embarrassed like that, literally, like I think they rallied like that, and they're just like, we are going to light the NFL, like we're just going to just destroy it. And I think that's what's motivating them.
They came out and now they have what, the number 1 scoring defense so far?
Oh, I thought it was offense.
And the number 1 scoring offense.
Yeah, both. But like they really responded to that by, okay, let's try to do whatever we can with this defense.
Yeah.
Dude, sorry, you're
good.
I was just gonna say, I thought it was funny how when we played the Lions, I expected a dogfight, and I know I mentioned that, but like they hyped up that number 1 offense for a while, and then they didn't score a single point, and I just thought I was like, gosh, dang, bro. But yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yep.
No, go, Alex. Go ahead.
No. Last thoughts, May. Last thoughts.
Oh, last thoughts. I was gonna ask Tree. We were talking about
okay,
you made that funny hot take, Alex. Do you have any hot takes or like a hill that you're willing to die on, Tree, about anything in sports?
Oh, you want a scorching hot take?
Yes,
Hit me, brother.
Yes.
Matt LaFleur is Mike McCarthy.
Facts.
I love it.
There is a hot take.
Facts.
I mean, that's the problem is he won't corral Aaron Rodgers in. That Packers offense is a mess because of it.
Yep. I agree. I agree. Matt LaFleur is this whole like genius, like Kyle Shanahan type offensive genius. Stop. No.
That's Aaron Rodgers' offense right now.
Yeah.
I mean, it is. I mean, that's why Nathaniel Hackett, I don't know why he even got a job.
Well, I mean,
they thought they could get him, right?
Yeah, that's why.
That offense is what Rodgers throwing to Cobb and a bunch of misfits. I don't know anybody in that receiving.
I do know Alan Lazard.
Okay.
It's Cobb and Lazard are the only ones he's throwing to. You have Romeo Dobbs, who's a really good rookie. Christian Watson, who I don't know if they even throw to that much. Robert Tonyan, Josiah DeGuara, Amari Rodgers. But otherwise, it's just he only throws to Cobb and
Rodgers
and Cobb's injured. So good luck.
Yeah.
Rodgers really needs to like trust a guy to throw to him. So these rookies are screwed until they do something.
Yeah, and the problem is they're gonna bring back Jake Kumaro or something like that because Aaron Rodgers loves throwing to him. Or maybe he'll bring Jordy Nelson out of retirement.
Oh
my god. Oh, no.
So I guess since Alex opened, I'll do a little bit of a closing. Jack, do you have any final thoughts?
I mean, fuck the Cowboys. But
dude, that is the easiest take in the world. Fuck the Cowboys.
yeah, no, that is
Fuck the Cowboys.
that is the default final thought.
That is literally all we... Dude, me and Jack, every single time we end the podcast, just fuck the Cowboys.
It's a good way to end a stream. Fuck the Cowboys.
Exactly. Fuck the Cowboys.
Exactly.
Alex, your final thoughts? Or you
fuck
can
the
just say-
Cowboys?
Yeah,
Just fuck
that's
the Cowboys.
exactly what I-
Fuck the Cowboys.
Let's take it.
May, do you have any final thoughts?
I've already said thank you a bunch because I literally
thank you so much.
A month ago,
Bruh.
Alex was like, "I'm talking to Tree on Twitter," and I thought, and I genuinely, I gave him a pat on the back, and I was like, "That's cool for Tree, reaching out," and then it was cool for you to be able to have a conversation with him, and then you kept going and going, and then we're in this room right now, and I'm just like, what the fuck? Like, this is unbelievable. So yeah, no, this is just absolutely amazing. Your next sports ball, I'm going to act like that's my friend, right? Watch sports ball and be like, that's you, Tree. I'm gonna be like, yeah, but yeah, no, that's pretty much my final thoughts. I hate the Giants. I mean, other than that, yeah, that's about it. Alex, if you want to close out, feel free to.
Tree, final thoughts.
Fuck the Cowboys.
Yeah, I'm ready. Good night, everybody.